So recently I was reading a piece translated by the Angry Workers Collective from, I think it was written in German originally, published in some kind of German leftist newspaper. But if you don't know, the Angry Workers Collective is a pretty good group of people organizing in London in some kind of marginalized kind of industrial sector of London. I don't know too much about it, but they've actually had some good success actually organizing workers in and around logistics and distribution and that sort of thing in like a heavily industrialized sector of London. So anyway, they published this text which was like very critical of Maoism. A lot of it was like fairly anecdotal, not too much engagement with Maoism as a theory. If you don't know, I personally identify with Maoism a fair amount. I mean, I like to say that this channel is a revolutionary communist channel, just leave it a bit more open-ended because admittedly my engagement with Maoism is not as deep as it should be, so I prefer to just identify as an orthodox Marxist revolutionary communist and leave it a bit more open because, you know, the topic of this video is left unity, and I think that just saying you're a revolutionary communist leaves it a bit more open, is not so alienating to, you know, different sects, different tendencies within communism. I even like to use the anarcho-communist flag as a symbol pretty often just because, again, I believe in left unity as much as I hate anarchists and have railed against anarchists on this channel before. Anyway, so this text that was pretty critical of Maoism, which is, again, a theoretical tendency that I quite like and think that, you know, there's a lot there for contemporary communists, but it caused me to think about like at what point, you know, Maoism has like a very bad reputation in the lefts, on the left, and it caused me to wonder, like, at what point do you kind of take that reputation to actually signify something real about the theory itself? You know, at what point do you have to, can you no longer separate the theory from the practitioners who identify or label themselves according to this theory? You know, Maoists, if not Maoism, has a bad reputation. You know, Maoists get up to a lot of like nefarious shit. I can even say, from my personal experience in Canada, we have a revolutionary communist party that identifies explicitly as Maoist. And, you know, their practices are not very good. They're constantly racked by internal strife because of all kinds of controversies and like, you know, like cultural practices and, you know, like just bad policies and like actions on the part of the members and like just bad behavior. So at what point do you know you need to like start to think that this kind of like the actions of the people who identify with this theory actually reflect something about the theory? I mean, I don't really see anything in Maoism or in Marxist-Leninism that you know, really justifies the kinds of bad actions like authoritarian kind of organizing and opportunism and careerism that this Angry Workers article in particular was criticizing a lot of Maoists for engaging in. I don't really see anything in the theory that kind of like justifies that. You know, it seems to be just, you know, bad actors. But yeah, it really made me think like, you know, at what point is it even worth it? Even if it doesn't necessarily reflect anything on the theory, is it even still worth it to identify yourself with that tendency, given the, you know, the bad reputation that it has? Which is kind of why I prefer to just label myself a revolutionary communist. But you know, that got me to think a little bit more about, you know, left unity and, you know, what that actually means. Ultimately, my conclusion is that, you know, the theoretical like having disagreements with people on the basis of theoretical tendencies is truly LARPing. That is what the LARPing aspect is, and really it is like what is actually significant, what actually reflects a person's politics, however they might identify theoretically, is the kinds of actions that they engage in. So on this channel recently, I have railed quite a bit against insurrectionary anarchists, a very particular contemporary tendency within anarchism that even a lot of anarchists disavow. But that's mostly on the basis of cultural disagreements. I don't really like the culture around it. But obviously, if I were in a workplace with some insurrectionary anarchists thinking about or working towards building a labor union, which is something that I think is extremely important and is the primary thing that most people should be involved in, I wouldn't not engage with them because they identify as insurrectionary anarchists. We would have maybe some fruitful debates about how to actually carry out the organizing, but ultimately organizing a labor union is informed by a long history of just empirical kind of practices. They're tried and true techniques. We'd go to the fucking IWW and get their advice on how to do it. There's not a lot of theoretical differences that you can have about how to organize a labor union. It's just a real concrete kind of practice. And so I think that is the most important thing when it comes to organizing. And then later when the union seizes state power, that is when we can start to have a real differences over our theoretical tendencies. But until then, I think it is useful to practice a kind of tactical unity, meaning that maybe we have disagreements between ourselves, amongst our various tendencies, but we're trying to build something in common. Ultimately, we're trying to build a better society. So we should all be organizing labor unions. I'm not about to join your insurrectionary anarchist commune because I don't think that's effective, and I don't want to clean up the kitchen after you fucking anarchists, because that's how it always ends up. I'm not interested in joining a commune, but I don't think that's a revolutionary practice. I don't think that's a fruitful practice. But you can do that with people who might be down for that. But we can find some kinds of common practices that we all believe are useful and are good, and then that is how we can really express our politics, rather than engaging in or just strictly limiting ourselves to theoretical debates. I mean, this is I don't really have a job right now, so it's a bit I have organized in the past, but yeah, right now I'm not involved in any organizing. I just relocated to a new city. There's a COVID lockdown. Don't have a job. So what I'm trying to do is, educate, build a culture on this channel. That's about it. But, all are welcome, whether or not you read Deleuze or whatnot. So yeah, maybe sound off in the comments what kind of organization you think is most important, and I'll see you in the next one.